Newsbreak, brought to you by National Mutual.
Good evening, I'm Peter Hitchener. One of America's most famous sports stars, O.J. Simpson, is tonight behind bars after being charged with the murder of his ex-wife and her friend. Simpson eventually surrendered to police after a day of drama, which included a car chase through Los Angeles with the football legend at one stage threatening to kill himself.
In a city renowned for bizarre downfalls, O.J. Simpson's is the most bizarre, culminating in this white four-wheel drive with Simpson in the back seat, holding a gun to his head, being chased by up to 25 police cars and being analysed live on national television.
So he's not only a risk to himself at this moment, he is a risk to other people as well.
Last Sunday, Simpson's 35-year-old ex-wife Nicole and her friend Ron Goldman were found stabbed to death outside her home. Although the prime suspect, Simpson yesterday grieved at her funeral with their 2 children. Today, police arranged to arrest him on 2 counts of murder at a Los Angeles house, but as they arrived, he disappeared out the back with childhood friend Al Cowlings. The amazing freeway chase began a short time after. As Cowlings drove, Simpson threatened to kill himself. They weaved around Los Angeles freeways for an hour and a half. It became a circus, with crowds gathering on median strips. Eventually, the van arrived at Simpson's home. After an onlooker was pushed away and an hour of painful police negotiations, Simpson surrendered. Ironically, after police battled so hard to prevent Simpson from killing himself tonight, this much-loved but now shattered icon faces charges which could lead to the death penalty. Nick McCallum, National 9 News, Los Angeles.
3 people have been killed in a horror road accident near Mount Gambier in the southeast of South Australia. Police say 2 cars collided about 4 o'clock this afternoon. Killed were 2 teenagers aged 18 and 17 and 1-year-old boy. The accident happened 16 kilometres west of Mount Gambier. And a 45-year-old man has died and 2 others have been hospitalised with burns after a blast and fire on board a ship at a Sydney naval base. The men were working on a merchant vessel in dry dock at Garden Island when a gas cylinder exploded. 10 people were treated at the scene for minor injuries. Australian Graham Craddock has been sentenced to 20 years in a United States jail for his part in the Waco siege. His family in Melbourne still believe the former teacher did nothing wrong.
4 federal agents died in the gunfight that started the 51-day siege at the Branch Davidian compound in Waco, Texas. David Koresh and 78 of his followers perished in the inferno that ended the confrontation. Australian Graham Craddock and 7 other cult members survived and today faced sentencing in a federal court.
Killing 4 federal agents is about as serious as it gets, and we're not ashamed to ask for a lot of time.
5 were jailed for 30 years, while Craddock, who was convicted of possessing a hand grenade and using or carrying a firearm during the commission of an offence, received 20 years. The remaining cult members were given lesser sentences. In Melbourne, Ron and June Craddock spent the day in church praying. They say their son is innocent.
We think that our son was caught in wrong doctrines, but we don't think that Graham would ever do anything wrong. He was always a very gentle boy.
Graham Craddock will serve at least 15 years before parole. The judge has been criticised for being too harsh, but he told the court he's seen evidence from Waco considered too gruesome for the jury. Even so, the head of the jury was shocked.
It's just a little bit burdensome.
The families of the dead agents refused to comment. Graham Craddock, who still believes in the teachings of David Koresh, is expected to appeal. Darren Linton, National 9 News.
US President Bill Clinton has rejected claims that he's backing away from the threat of economic sanctions against North Korea. He's cautiously welcomed reports from former President Jimmy Carter that North Korea has agreed to international checks of its nuclear program. And although Mr. Clinton says there is the possibility of the US holding high-level talks with the North Koreans, he wants confirmation of the agreement.
But we have to go to sanctions if the violations continue. That's the issue. Our position has not changed.
In Belfast, a man armed with a homemade flamethrower has attacked students at his former school. 3 boys were severely burnt when the man walked into a classroom and sprayed it with flames. Others fled with their clothing on fire. A hunt is now underway for a 48-year-old suspect understood to be a former pupil at the school. To sport, and Greg Norman is 6 shots off the pace at the halfway mark of the US Open. Scotsman Colin Montgomery leads by 2 shots from a group of players including former champion Hale Irwin.
Irwin took full advantage of the calmer early conditions, an eagle at the 9th giving him the lead. Norman was having trouble with the Oakmount rough, but Colin Montgomery was outplaying everybody. A birdie at 12 taking him to 5 under, and a superb approach to the 18th again brought the spectators alive.
Jansen.
Nine's coverage resumes later tonight at 1:20. In Chicago, the opening ceremony of soccer's 15th World Cup has preceded an expected 1-0 win by Germany over Bolivia.
And Germany have taken the lead.
The second match produced a surprise, though, as Spain overcame a sending off to take a 2-goal lead against South Korea, before the South Koreans produced 2 miracle goals in the last 6 minutes to snatch a draw. In tennis, Patrick Rafter is in the final of the Manchester Grass Tournament. The defending champion Jason Stoltenberg has been beaten. He almost took the match to a 3rd set before Wayne Ferreira produced a winning backhand volley. Andrew Bensley, National 9 News.
The world's most celebrated attempt at panda matchmaking has been called off. After 3 years, China's giant female panda Ming Ming is about to leave London and return home, having rejected repeated offers of male mateship. She became one of the zoo's star attractions, but has been without a potential mate for more than a year. Finally tonight, the national weather, and showers are forecast for Adelaide, Canberra, Melbourne and Hobart. Becoming fine in Perth, Brisbane, Sydney and Darwin should also be mostly fine. That's all from the newsroom for now. Till I see you again, it's good night.
This has been a National 9 News presentation.